The moment our fellow geeks, dweebs, nerds, and other unfortunates have been fervently waiting for has finally arrived. It's time for TMI, Confessionals of the Nerd Kind. And now, your hosts, Jeff Nerf Herder Chandler and Jim Kaiju Baker. And now, let's get on with the show. Here is TMI.
So we are back with Chapter 7, Mandalorian.
Chapter 7, The Reckoning.
And Christina Henry is back with us.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
Can't
this is
stop coming back, guys.
I know. This is getting to be a regular gig for you.
Your check is in the mail.
Jeff, you might have to start working on her caricatures.
New banner.
Now, Disney Plus caught us off guard. Well, actually didn't catch Christina off guard because she told me. But they dropped this 2 days early. Normally, they come out on Friday, as everybody knows. But this one dropped on Wednesday. I can only assume because they wanted to get out of the way of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe they wanted this to get out there 2 days early because there was going to be some kind of important information that they had to impart before you
that's right. That's
Skywalker.
Exactly what we were kind of.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say if there is or there isn't, but
there is.
That's maybe that's what I was hoping for. Anyway,
there is a reason. There's a reason, right? So,
but let's get into this.
But it doesn't take away. It doesn't take away.
No,
if you don't know.
And we have seen the Rise of Skywalker, so don't worry, we're not going to spoil anything.
But definitely check back in on Wednesday's episode because we are digging into that.
We're talking all about it. So we're going to try really hard not to drop any casual spoilers here.
Whenever somebody says anything, just blurg it out.
Yeah,
blurg.
Okay.
Yeah. Or do Quail saying, "I have spoken."
Yeah. Okay. So now this is called The Reckoning.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that was a low foresight?
Jeff, all of your standalone episodes that you've been railing against.
Yeah.
The
Well, I
entire
haven't really been
show,
railing against necessarely, but yes, they did kind of come together here.
Yeah, they brought it all.
Which
all
I think
focus,
we kind of surmised that this was hopefully what they were going to do.
So it was like a greatest hits. It was like a K-Tel greatest hits compilation where everybody from all the episodes.
You're dating yourself with a K-Tel reference. What's an album, mommy? Yeah, but he got the band back together.
He did.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the episode, Grief Karga comes on and says, if you want to get all these hunters off your back, come back here and let's settle things with the client. You can give him the child and you can come back to the guild.
Yeah, which it just smelled like a trap from the beginning.
Everything on the show smells like a trap from the beginning.
I know. But every episode now starts with him flying and Baby Yoda sleeping in the little cargo seat. Like every episode, that's how it starts now.
And I think that he knew it was a trap, and that's why he went to get the band back together.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
But he had no choice. He has no choice in every episode to go in for all this stuff because he knows that these hunters are on him, and it's his only way for him and Baby Yoda to survive is to try to scrounge this money on all these questionable jobs.
Right off the bat, the music is a lot more ominous, so it was kind of telltale that this was not going to end well.
You know what's funny is that Carl Weathers' performance.
He was horrible.
But it's just he has got so many hammy lines in this, and he's standing there. And really, we made a joke about Ronan the Accuser in his holographic phone image, like he's standing there ready, for the phone to ring, so he can, in his battle pose.
Yeah,
and you've got a good, you've got the Superman pose that Grief Karga is doing as he's giving this message to Mando. You may be surprised to hear this, but I am alive too.
I know, right?
Yeah, no shit.
And if you're listening to this, you're alive. It's like,
the way he calls him my friend. My friend. You know, this guy's not your friend, man.
No. So, but as you said, Mando is smart enough to know that this is a trap. So he goes back. The first place he goes to is to go back and get Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Right.
Smart move, right?
That would be the
she's
first
like one
thing
of
I
the few
would
that actually he encountered stayed alive.
Right.
Everyone else he runs into dies.
And when we see her,
except for the people we wanted to die.
Right, correct, yeah.
I'm
we
still
see
bitter.
her in this, when we're introduced to her, it's like she's in a Beat It video.
I don't know. Yeah, she had some kind of electric chastity belt going on there. That was some kinky stuff.
It was very reminiscent of that scene from Raiders when we meet Karen Allen in the drinking
exactly.
contest, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's good to see her because she's one of my favorite characters from this show. I really like that actress. I had to go back, and make sure that she was the one from Deadpool, and yeah, she is. And I love her line. I had to rewind it when she says, "Pay up, mud scuffers," and I'm like, what did she say?
Mud scuffers. That's my new word.
And
hashtag that.
It's taken me a while, but I think I've got Nick Nolte's name down. Queel, right? That's how you pronounce it. Yeah. He's got a little Dr. Zayas thing going on, I noticed. Like with his mouth.
With the mouth. Yeah, because it's not him playing the character.
Now, do you think that they're using his face? Because he does resemble. He does.
Facially. Look, I called that when we first realized that it was him. I said it's almost like typecasting because he does kind of look like Nick Nolte a little bit.
In the eyes.
Once you put the two and two together, do you think that's the first time that the word "devoid" ever came past Nick Nolte's lips?
I think there's a lot of words that have never come past Nick Nolte's lips before this show.
It doesn't sound like something he would say in the everyday conversation.
So Mando has to go back. He gets Kara. Then he goes back and he gets Quill. And Quill is more or less to watch Baby Yoda, as that's the
they realize they need a babysitter.
Yes,
right.
It's nice that he finally realized he needed a babysitter instead of leaving the baby in a room.
In the car.
Yeah, he is like the worst dad figure ever, dude.
Yep. It's like 100 degrees out. The windows are up. Come on, Mando.
Yeah, left him in the ship. He's good to go.
Yeah, so Quill says yes. But he's got to bring the blurgs with him.
Which makes no sense, but obviously it's a nice visual when.
But of course, it comes in later. It's got to tie into something later. There's a reason that the blurgs are there. So they meet Grief. They meet Carl Weathers as they land.
Oh wait, you forgot something. So
there's
somebody with Queel.
Oh yeah, Queel. Yeah.
IG-11.
Jim's like, ooh,
yes. What? So yes, Queel has.
You forgot about the giant robot.
Repurposed IG-11.
He reprogrammed him.
Yeah, he's like RoboCop now to serve and protect. Serve T. Why'd it have to be T? It could have been anything else in the world, but they had to refer to it as T.
And he's kind to little animals too now, IG-11.
Yes, he doesn't crush them with boxes and.
Well, I'll save you.
But Mando's still suspicious of him.
Damn straight.
And I think because Mando's still suspicious of him, we're still suspicious of him too. Because I just started to get tense every time he was around because Mando was getting tense. Like, I don't want him near the kid.
Yeah, no. But this makes you wonder, like, how long has he been on the run? Because Queel made it sound like it took him a fair amount of time to fix this thing and to retrain it.
We don't really have a sense of like the time passing on the show.
And you know what's funny? Because I brought up that whole minutes thing last episode. Mm-hmm. And my friend Pete, who listens, pointed out that in the Death Star run on A New Hope, they do use minutes to count down the commencement sequence.
Yes, so my son said the same thing when he was listening to the podcast. He's like, "But you're wrong because
listen, I'm not always right, dude."
And I said, "How could we forget that, right? Yeah. Because it's the first Star Wars."
Right? Yeah. I hate the fact that I even had to refer to it as A New Hope. It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. Yeah.
Yes,
Star Wars.
I know. So, anyways, but yeah, you're right. So, we're wrong, and
he's 13.
He probably knows more than I do.
I'm sure he knows more than all of us put together about this stuff. So the reason I forgot about IG-11 is because he is forgotten about as soon as the story kicks into high gear, because IG-11 is a death machine in episode 1. Yeah. So I'm expecting him to play big into chapter 8.
Yeah, because he's still on the ship at the end of the episode. You're like, well,
you don't see him, and Queel's dead. Yeah. So he doesn't come with him. But we did set up nicely. Of course, it reiterates that Mando has an issue with droids. And we haven't really talked about this. This is very much a callback to Ripley in Aliens, I think. And mistrusting
nice
Bishop.
Call. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe IG-11, won't be the villain after all. So maybe he's going to prove Mando wrong and come.
Maybe he'll be the Bishop character.
Yeah. Exactly. Save the day.
And save at the end. And before they get to the planet, though, there's this scene that there's two scenes that I thought were really interesting on the ship. One of them was right after Kara gets picked up, and her and Mando are down, like getting the weapons. And Baby Yoda like sticks his head down through the hatch, like looks to see what they're doing, then goes back up, and then the ship starts to fly out of control. So they come upstairs and they see him holding the stick, whatever it is, the stick shift, right? Yep. And the ship's moving all over the place. And I couldn't figure out I'm wondering how much he understands. Because I somehow got the impression that he started to try to move the ship because they were talking about going to Navarro.
And he was trying to turn it in the other direction?
Right. Or is he just being a toddler and like messing around?
Just messing with stuff.
It was the timing of the way the scene played out. They were talking about going back to Navarro. The baby was asleep when Mando first got the message. And then suddenly he's up there messing around trying to turn the ship. And I was like, does he understand what's happening? Or is he just like, it's a thing to play with? It wasn't really clear there.
I'm going to make sure that they're not paying attention to me. And now I'm going to go play with the stick shift, right?
Right.
Interesting. So, you can take it both either way.
I think because of the timing of when the conversation was occurring, there was different ways to interpret it. But then later, I questioned that because Mando and Cara are having the arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And then Baby Yoda starts to choke Cara with the Force.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is he doing that?
Because he's like, dude, this guy saved me.
Yeah,
he's my protector
to be a
now.
Threat.
Yeah. He saw her as a threat, I guess.
Yeah. But even Cara was like, oh, he's such a scamp. Come on. I can't be mad at him.
Oh, that little Michael Myers running around with a knife.
She did say that's not okay.
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
Now, before Quill gets it, there's some tension between Cara and him because she recognizes him as ex-Empire, but he's got no affiliation. He was pretty much, as he says, an indentured servant to the Empire, and he's paid his debt. And now he's free.
But so was she. She was a shock trooper.
She's got serious issues.
Don't we all?
In no way wants any part of this job until a second after he says, well, it's an Imperial that you're going to kill. Okay, I'm in.
All right, I'm in. Right. Okay.
And I love how they refer to him, Werner Herzog, as the Imp.
Yes.
Imp, yeah, I do like that.
Which could be Baby Yoda. That's a good name for him, too. Yeah.
The baby.
It's a little imp.
The child. The punk.
So now, have I forgotten anything else? Are we now at the spot where they meet Greef? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
I don't want to drop anything else because that was major, the IG-11. So Greef Karga meets up with Mando and the gangs. They're all going together. Was Baby Yoda with them at that point? They was because Greef Karga says to him, ooh, I understand. We're not going to hurt a hair on his wrinkled little head, I think is the quote.
Yeah. He says, what an adorable little creature.
Yes.
And I don't understand, again, Mando and Cara do get tense, but it's like, why are they letting him touch the baby?
Right.
Don't let him touch the baby.
Because he shows up, first of all, with like 2 other bounty hunters with him or protecting guys. He seems shocked that Mando showed up with friends on blurgs. Mm-hmm. A blurg is a terrible thing to waste.
They make camp on their way back to the Imp, and that's where they're attacked by... Now, at first I thought it was Minox, but it was much too big to be Minox.
Yeah,
right?
They're like dragon bats.
But it's right on the line that Greef Karga has. Nothing can go wrong. And all of a sudden this thing sweeps down.
All goes wrong.
And he screams like a girl.
Wouldn't you?
I would. Definitely I would.
Oh, hell yeah.
A blurg is taken, unfortunately, and another one is killed. And these things have poison in their claws or I don't know, what the deal is.
They're kind of like maybe like Komodo dragons that just got, all kinds of festering crap inside their incisors.
And so then they try to take Greef Karga. So they've got their claws sunk into him, and they don't get him. And he's got the poison in his arm. Carl Weathers is sitting there, and he's about to die. And Baby Yoda comes over to him with outstretched hand. And another great line from Carl Weathers. He's going to eat me. He's going to eat me.
I know.
Because he'd mentioned before, he's a carnivore after he saw him eating meat.
Right.
And nope, he lays his hand down on the wound and the poison runs out and he heals him. So now this is the first time we've seen this kind of ability.
This kind of force, yes.
Or for anybody,
which makes you wonder, could Obi-Wan have saved Qui-Gon?
I don't think that they knew that well, because I think each Jedi has their own special kind of, I think the Force flows through them differently.
Right.
So
and obviously this child, this Baby Yoda is very in tune with the Force at a very early age. So, he probably can tap into stuff that others cannot.
The other thing that was interesting about that, though, is that that's the only time so far you've seen him use the Force not to defend Mando. Like
Ooh.
every other
Yeah, so
time
he's
he's
not-
used the
he's-
Force on the
Right.
show,
Yeah.
he's always been defending Mando, or he was going to defend himself from Zero in the last episode. But he's up to this point, you've only seen him use it
Defensively.
for defense.
Huh.
He's been forced into it.
Oh. Yoda man.
No dad jokes, Jim.
Oh,
Nothing but dad jokes. Oh,
So,
boy.
but if you think back to the first episode, or maybe it was the second episode, because they're like they run into each other, so it's kind of tight. But Yoda actually gets out of the little crib thing when Mando's hurt, and he approaches him with his hand. So I think at that point,
Oh yeah, he was looking to.
he was going to try to heal him. But Mando was like, "Why are you out of the crib?" and just sort of picked him up and put him back inside it.
yeah. This act of healing on Grief Karga makes him have a change of heart, because a little bit later we realize that it was a trap, as everybody suspected.
Shocker.
Big surprise.
Didn't
Yeah.
see that coming.
But Grief is won over by Baby Yoda, just as we all were.
Right.
And-
Baby Yoda saves all.
And he shoots the two bounty hunters. So now the fake plan that Grief Karga was selling to Mando is now the actual plan, that they're going to go in
Right.
That's a little convoluted in and of
Yeah.
itself.
and they're going to go in and kill the imp. And he's insisting that there's only going to be 4 stormtroopers.
Right.
And Cara Dune
Only
is hung
4.
up. She is hung up on this number 4. And so
Yeah.
she lets Grief Karga know about it every chance that she can get.
She was right.
Now, at this point, before they go into town, Mando decides wisely to send Baby Yoda back to the ship
Yep.
with
Queel
and
on a
blurg. And something is
Yoda
wrong.
and Queel on a blurg.
You
That
know
sounds like a
something
nice
is
song.
bad, something is wrong, because there's a long, meaningful look between Baby Yoda looking to Mando as he's going off, as if
He knew.
this may be the last time that they see each other.
Yes.
So you know
Yeah.
something bad is going to happen with this. Foreshadowing is not subtle in the show. It's going to know.
No.
So that's when we actually get to Werner Herzog's office, and there's quite a few stormtroopers outside.
More
There are
than
only
4.
4. I think were there 4 inside?
Like
or were
inside, there
more
was
than
like 4 inside, but there was
Yeah.
a hell of a lot more
Yeah,
outside.
it's like, you see, there are 4 here.
Yeah.
And there's a great line where they have the car seat there that's closed, so they want to give the impression that Baby Yoda's
That
like,
Baby
well, let
Yoda,
me
yeah.
see the child. I said, oh, he's sleeping. I'll be very quiet.
Right. We're talking. What a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
He actually had a funny line too, the client. He said, "May I offer you a libation in celebration of the end of our shared narrative?" I was like, what?
It's like whoever wrote the screenplay is like, what will sound good with a German accent? May I offer you a libation?
Herr Fräulein.
So we're getting into the dramatic conclusion of this episode now.
The confrontation.
We get the introduction of Giancarlo Esposito's character,
Moff. Gideon.
another Grand Moff.
Yeah.
Now, is this like the Grand Poobah? Is this like Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble?
Hell yeah.
Is
The
the Grand
loyal
Moff-
order of water buffaloes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gideon says at one point, am I the only intelligent one here? Because he asks over the phone, have you seen the child? It's sleeping.
I mean, he
No,
did
it's sleeping. It's sleeping.
Let's give him credit. He did say, I'll be very quiet. Let's open it, right? So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think he suspected that maybe the baby wasn't in there, but he didn't have a chance to prove it.
Right.
Yeah, because he had to take that phone call.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
excuse me. This call. I know
I think
nothing.
if I was him, I would let the phone ring and just
Right?
say, okay, open
It's
the
like, come
car
on, this is the
seat,
most
please.
dramatic
Yeah,
moment, right?
yeah.
He's finally got the thing that he's been after since chapter 1.
So
And he's
now
like,
all
"Oh."
hell breaks loose because they've been had. So they open fire and they're pinned down. So they take out the stormtroopers inside the office, but there's a ton more outside. And then we cut to Queel, who's been so sadly cut down, and even more upsetting, Baby Yoda is there on the ground,
Once again, somebody dropped him. Just
tossed, probably tossed, not just dropped.
Yeah, that's
Our
true.
poor Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and Queel. That was actually kind of disappointing to see. Queel.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was,
But we did get the black troopers from Rogue One, which I thought was kind of a nice little
yeah.
bring them back, because we saw some of the speeder bike troopers, and so you're seeing all these different iterations of stormtroopers. But yeah, the black troopers I thought was cool.
So again, this is sort of weird, but are Gideon and the client like from the same faction? They sort of seem to be working together, but then his troopers fire on the
Right.
on the
just cut
bar
him
with
down,
like
yeah.
no concern about who's inside. And
I
of course,
think
the first person they kill is the client.
Right. Oops. Sorry, Walter. I don't know. I mean, is this prize just so valued that they're willing to take out each other to deliver it to whoever is really behind it all, looking for this thing?
Oh, we forgot.
Uh-oh.
So
We
on
seem
the
to forget a
ship,
lot.
Queel said that Baby Yoda was not a clone. He was not genetically built.
Because he was too ugly, right?
Yes, but also
Yeah.
because he had experience,
With
something that he'd done with the Empire. And this is like basically like this is an organic thing. So that answers a question that we had from earlier where we were wondering if maybe he was a
who
clone.
was a clone, which makes you think
Right.
that maybe they, going back to the fact that they want to clone him.
But
at
then
least
again,
that
he
was
says
the
to
answer.
Kara, well, you on the other hand look like that you are. So that doesn't endear him to her very much,
No.
unfortunately. Now, do we think that Moff Gideon is some kind of a force figure in his own right? That he is something more than just a politician here?
You think he's like a Sith Lord?
Like, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, that he has like personal intentions for Baby Yoda. That maybe he is tied into this personally somehow.
I don't know.
He did seem to be aware that the baby was not actually with them because he,
Yeah, they did. Well, they were listening to the transmissions as well, so they knew that Queel was taking it back to the ship.
So yeah, I couldn't figure out there. I'm like, was it just because of the radio, or did he know because of Force things,
Right.
Force knowledge?
So what is our final analysis of this episode in terms of the episodes that have come before? Jeff, did this
Propel the
really
narrative
give
forward?
Did it give you what you were looking for in terms of
I guess, yes, I think so.
towards-
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there is an end game now, because now he's no longer on the run. Now he's got to go and save Yoda. Yeah, again. We'll see. We got one more episode, chapter.
Yeah. But I
One more
don't
chapter.
think that they have enough time to really do anything substantial with what we're looking to find out.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to somehow see him miraculously track these guys down and retrieve the child by the end of next chapter.
That's going to be terrible. That's going to be
That's
terrible.
what I thought too.
Yeah,
I was
leave
like,
him in
we're gonna
peril.
have to wait a whole season to find out what happens to Baby Yoda. I'm just gonna be upset for 6 months or whatever until
worried sick about the little guy.
Now, did anybody go back and look at the end of, was it chapter 5, where you see the feet appear, and see if it matches the costume?
I don't think it did. Oh, Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
That's.
Oh, I
don't think
go back.
and I don't think it matches because Boba Fett had the little spikes on his toes, and I don't remember that. But I didn't. I did pick up on the sound of the spurs, but I don't remember
because Moff Gideon has a cape, and that
he
figure
does have
had
a
cape.
cape.
Yeah.
But
it didn't seem to make sense that he would have been on Tatooine.
Right.
I don't know. Unless he is attuned to Baby Yoda and he's
able to track him somehow.
Yeah.
But if he is, then why is he sending out bounty hunters? Like, why would you send out these incompetents when, like, you have a whole, like, 4 carriers full of stormtroopers at your disposal? You can just drop them wherever, gun down Mando, take the baby. That seems crazy. So it makes more sense from a logical point of view that it would be Boba Fett on just because it was Tatooine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the last place we saw him.
Right.
But I thought that the episode, even though you knew something was going to go wrong, even though you were sure that, something bad was going to happen, you didn't know exactly what. So I actually thought this was a very, tense episode. It was very suspenseful. And the other episode that I thought was like this was the third one, The Sin, and they were both directed by Deborah Chow. I thought she does a really good job of building the tension, even though you kind of know what's going to happen. You're really hooked in.
Yeah, you're invested.
Something
I don't know. I threw it out there last week that I thought I had read somewhere that season 2 had already wrapped, but I don't know if that's the case.
Okay.
How terrible would it be if it's not already filmed, and they're going to spend however many months filming it, and then the show won't come out right away when they're done filming? Obviously, we could be waiting 2 years to find out if maybe.
Oh yeah, that's another Lost in Space season 2.
Yeah, I know. How many Marvel? If they're going to go along the same formula of just dropping one show at a time, they've got 50 Marvel shows coming out.
Yeah.
We've got to go through all these Marvel shows one at a time.
Yeah.
Or they come out with the Mandalorian again.
Yeah, but they could be filming and releasing them at the same time. They don't have to film all 8 or 9 or whatever it's going to film fill up a season.
You're right. I mean, they don't. They could work like at network TV.
Yeah, old school is once a
Yeah.
there was like a once a week window.
So I think
I
the
don't know.
consensus here is we're happy where the show is going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Going
Yeah.
into chapter 8.
Correct. I
As
agree.
we have been from the beginning. So
Yeah. This kind of ties into Rise of Skywalker a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
nice
know?
segue, Jeff, because I'd like to announce that our regular episode, as Jeff has already said, is going to be all about the Rise of Skywalker.
That's out already?
It is. So
Wow.
if you have seen it and you're just dying for somebody to talk about it, then stay tuned because on Wednesday we will drop our Skywalker episode.
I am so excited.
Yes, so am I. And Christina's going to be back with us for that. one,
Christina.
so-
I am.
That's
I
awesome.
can't-
It's
I
like-
can't
it's like-
leave.
It's like all
No,
Star Wars all the
no.
time now.
Yeah. When you go on your book tours, for wherever you are in the world, you're going to bring your laptop so you can join
That's
us.
There
right.
you go.
Right?
Nice.
And we'll
Awesome.
talk about Star Wars.
Yes, yes. Okay, so thank you for listening. As
Yes,
always.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for letting me join, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
He's going to eat me.